Hey guys, thanks again for joining me for some more Mindful Minutes with Dr. Rich Martin. I want to ask you if you are mindful or is your mind full? I got the idea for this one actually from a friend of mine on Facebook. She posted a cartoon, and a cartoon had a father and a son, walking in the woods with his young son. They're holding hands. And then the cloud bubbles that show you what each is thinking. Well, the child is thinking, is seeing the trees and imagining animals running and hearing the noises. The father's mind was full of things like work and worry, right? And it really got me thinking it because it resonated with me, because I think so often we get so wrapped up in what's going on in our lives that we're not present in the moment. And a moment like that is something that he'll never get back. I mean, my wife and I talk so many times about how quickly our daughter grew up. She's 23 years old now. It's hard for us to believe that she was ever, for me to believe that she was ever a really young toddler, because it just goes so fast. And that's true of so many things in life. If you're not there in the moment, if you're not mindful of the minute, of the moment, and instead your mind is full of other thoughts and things, there are so many things that you can miss throughout your day. Magical moments, really, that happen every day that we might not even realize because our mind is so focused on other things and distracted. I remember earlier in my career, well, actually midway through my career probably, I was in some training for the police agency. And the instructor had us go around the room, and he wanted each of us to introduce ourselves, tell how many years we had been working in policing, and what our goal was for our career. And it was really sad because there were so many of these officers with 2 and 3 years, 3 to 5 years probably, 3 to 5 years on the job. And so many of them, the theme throughout the room was, I just want to make it to retirement. Just want to retire. Thinking to myself, how sad, how absolutely tragic is it that these young officers with their entire career ahead of them are already focused so much on retirement that they'll miss out on so many amazing experiences. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of negative and a lot of bad experiences that, we just try to put out of our minds afterwards. But I relish a lot of those experiences that I had while I was working in policing. Glad to be done, don't get me wrong. But a lot of great experiences that if I hadn't had the right mentality, and I'm sure there are many that I did miss because I was so caught up in the negativity and my mind so full of other things that I failed to appreciate some of those things during my career. So there's a country song by Trace Atkins. It's titled, You're Gonna Miss This. And it's really, that's what it's all about, is exactly about those things in our life that if we're not mindful of them at the time and appreciate them at the time, when they're gone, we're gonna miss them. And the song talks about a young mother who's, trying to do a million things with watching the kids, trying to keep up with some housework, the phone's ringing, the repair guy's there, all of these things. And she says, and she apologizes because the kids are climbing all over the repairman and getting into his stuff. And his response is, you're gonna miss this because my kids are grown up and gone. And I would love to have those moments back. And another one is about, she's in a small apartment and she's telling her father about her dream of the bigger house. And her father tells her again, you're gonna miss this. And that one resonates because my wife and I still talk so fondly about the little tiny house that we rented when we first got together. So be mindful of the minute. Now I've referenced Eckhart Tolle's book, A New World. I think that's what it's called. I meant to look that. I posted it the other day when I referenced it. And he talks a lot about that mindfulness, being present in the moment, being an incredibly powerful thing. Power is something that humans have a natural tendency to desire. And his premise is that it's a very powerful thing individually for us to be fully present in the moment, rather than always thinking of the journey and the end, right? It's not the journey, it's not the end that's as important as the journey. So be mindful. Take stock of what's going on minute to minute, day by day. Take some time to taste that food that you're eating, that really good meal, or listen to the birds that are chirping or the cicadas where I'm at right now, right? Feel the sun on your face. All those things, be mindful of those, because it can lead to some very powerful growth within. So I hope you found this useful. I thank you for joining me, and I hope you'll join me for some future Mindful Minutes with Dr. Rich Martin. Take care.